Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into a world where uh, character backstories meet some pretty perilous dungeons. The world hinted at in Chrysogon's Coterie and beneath the Silver Spire.
Oh, cool. So,
Sounds like a good one.
yeah, think of Chrysogon's Coterie as like this treasure trove of unique player characters, just begging for an adventure.
Right.
And
Yeah.
beneath the Silver Spire, well,
Yeah.
that sets the stage for a thrilling one.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool combination. One source brings those potential heroes to life, and then the other one just drops them right into like a world teeming with mysteries and all sorts of challenges.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Chrysogon's Coterie, it takes this, it's a really old school approach to character creation.
Okay.
It's all about sparking your imagination, not like boxing you in with these rigid rules.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We're talking fighters, clerics, magic users, each with these quirky details and backstories that make them feel like real people.
It's like the author's saying, here's some awesome people.
Now go make something awesome with them.
Exactly. Okay, so let me introduce you to a few of these characters.
Yeah.
We've got Tasia Lentinus. She's a female fighter who decided that the life of embroidery just wasn't for her.
Mm-hmm.
She defied those expectations and embraced combat. Talk about a powerful statement.
Right. And what I find interesting is that she's not just this fierce warrior. You know, she's a first-level fighter with really solid stats.
Oh, wow.
Her armor class is pretty impressive, meaning, you know, she can take a hit.
Yeah.
It's almost like we could already see her deflecting blows with this, you know, confident smirk.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
then we have Ernan O'Hongwisi. They're a halfling cleric, obsessed with forgotten deities, and they ride dogs.
Right.
Seriously, picture a halfling cleric charging into battle
Okay.
on a pack of dogs.
Hold on. That raises some questions. Are we talking like battle-trained hounds,
Yeah.
divine companions, or just like a halfling's quirky mode of transport?
Yeah.
The source material leaves that kind of open to interpretation, inviting us to like fill in the blanks.
It does. That's what I love about it. It gives you a framework, and then it sets your imagination free.
That's cool. I like that.
And speaking of intriguing characters, we've got Vigo Preconinus, a dwarf fighter who loves books and wood carving,
Okay.
who says a warrior can't be a Renaissance dwarf.
That's pretty fascinating how it challenges all those preconceived notions that we have about, you know, classic fantasy archetypes.
Right.
It suggests, you know, Vigo has this depth that goes beyond hacking and slashing.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Stanford Botright. He's a cleric grappling with imposter syndrome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's real.
He masks all his fears with a charming smile and some pretty powerful spells.
Yeah.
Talk about relatable content.
Stanford's struggle is something I think a lot of us can connect with, that feeling of not being good enough,
Yeah.
even when you're, you know, capable of great things. It kind of adds this layer of like human vulnerability
Yeah.
to this really fantastic world.
Yes. And there's Conrad Freeman battling sibling rivalry.
Okay.
Ainsley Kinsley, fascinated by the undead. A bit creepy, but definitely interesting.
Right.
Vesper Calusa, questioning their faith.
Oh, wow.
And the enigmatic Chrysogon in Mosin, the author living this, like, reclusive life.
It's remarkable how each character is presented with such detail. Their levels, their armor class, weapons, spells, even their specific equipment.
Wow.
It's like we're given these blueprints to like really bring them to life on the tabletop.
Right. And this is where Beneath the Silver Spire comes in. Imagine dropping these characters right into this adventure.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking a mountain riddled with caverns and tunnels, an infernal prison
Oh, wow.
ruled by the mysterious Lothane Ganthar.
Okay, so if we think about the Silver Spire as this giant puzzle box with each zone presenting its own, like, unique challenge, I can't help but wonder, how would a character like Stanford, you know, plagued by self-doubt, react to a zone where magic is suppressed?
Right.
Would he crumble under that pressure?
Yeah.
Or would it, like, force him to, you know, to tap into some hidden well of resourcefulness?
That's a great question. And Beneath the Silver Spire doesn't shy away from throwing challenges at you right from the start. I mean,
Yes.
we're talking 4 priceless artifacts that have been stolen.
Okay.
Crescent, Blood Thistle, Soulfang, and Tickler.
Wow.
Each with their own unique powers and potentially dangerous consequences.
Blood Thistle, for example.
Yeah.
That's a sentient crimson morning star, and it grants the wielder a bonus to their armor class.
Cool.
But it also establishes this telepathic communication. So imagine those role-playing possibilities. You could be fighting alongside a weapon that's like whispering secrets and offering unsolicited advice.
Oh man, imagine Ernin with their love of forgotten lore suddenly hearing whispers from a sentient weapon. It could send them on a whole new quest for knowledge within the Spire.
Oh, for sure. And then there's Solfang. That's a silver scimitar. And it drains the wielder's life force when it's used against the undead.
Oh, wow.
It's powerful,
Ew.
but the price is pretty steep. Makes you wonder, what lengths would a desperate or an ambitious character go to wield that power?
Would they risk becoming one of the undead themselves?
Yeah,
Just to gain an edge. It's this risk-reward scenario that could make for some really intense gameplay.
it definitely adds that layer of tension,
Yeah.
knowing that like even victory could come at a terrible cost.
For sure. And the setting itself, the town of Mowbray, overshadowed by this looming Silver Spire,
Yeah.
the sense of danger lurking beneath the surface, it's all so evocative.
Mowbray feels like a town, like right on the edge, dependent on adventurers for survival. I can imagine the characters from Chrysogon's Coterie
Yeah.
sitting right in. Their unique talents would be drawn to the Spire's mysteries and the promise of rewards.
Absolutely. Especially with those stolen artifacts in play.
Oh, yeah.
But the Spire itself is like its own character. It's divided into these magically enforced zones,
Right.
each with its own set of rules and challenges.
It's like stepping into this like completely different reality with each zone you enter.
Yeah.
So think about Tasia, the fighter,
Yeah.
suddenly finding herself in a zone where her physical strength is like amplified
Oh.
tenfold.
Okay.
How would that change her approach to combat?
Right.
Would she become reckless,
Yeah.
relying on, brute force?
Yeah.
Or would it refine her skills, allowing her to, move with a grace and precision she never knew she possessed?
Wow, that's a great point. It's like the Spire is testing not just their abilities, but their
Mhm.
adaptability.
Totally.
And then you've got challenges like that dread scarecrow
Yeah.
guarding the entrance, wielding a cursed sickle, hiding a swarm of all those nasty surprises,
Mhm.
or the treacherous 111 steps covered in algae leading to, like, who knows what.
Right.
Just getting inside is an adventure in itself.
Yeah. It's like the Spire is designed to weed out, like, the weak and unprepared right from the start.
Right.
Only those with courage, cunning, and maybe a little bit of luck,
Yeah.
they'll stand a chance.
They will. And once you're inside, the encounters just get even wilder. We've got Deities the Overseer.
Yeah.
They offer this tempting deal, safe passage, in exchange for assassinating Lothang Ganthar.
Oh.
But what are the implications of a choice like that?
It forces you to think about the consequences, right?
Yeah.
Do you align yourself with this, potentially dangerous entity for your own personal gain?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you hold fast to your principles, even if it means facing, greater risks?
And then there's Ilana the Judge,
Okay.
a seductive succubus who demands the truth.
Huh?
She's not going to let you get away with some little white lie.
No, her presence adds like this whole psychological layer to the adventure.
Yeah.
It's not just about like physical combat. It's about navigating those social interactions,
Yeah.
deciphering motives, and, maybe even confronting your own inner demons.
Wow. And let's not forget Lemure Land.
Oh, God.
This horrifying cesspool filled with suffering lemures.
It's like this stark reminder of the cruelty and despair that exist within those walls.
Yes. And then you have the River of Blood, this chilling scene of judgment and execution,
Oh, man.
overseen by a minotaur-wielding soul fang. It makes you wonder, is there any hope for redemption in this place?
Right.
Or is it simply a cycle of suffering and violence?
That's heavy.
We're going to need like a whole new deep dive just to unpack the implications of Lemure Land and the River of Blood.
Absolutely. It's a testament to like how deep this source material is, how it sparks all these questions and possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot already.
Yeah.
From quirky clerics, writing dogs, to infernal prisons and sentient weapons, it's been quite a journey.
It really has.
But we're only just scratching the surface of this world.
Right.
Join us in part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll continue to explore the fascinating connections between Chrysogon's Coterie and Beneath the Silver Spire, and, imagine what happens when these characters collide with the Spire's challenges.
Already.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
We'll see you there. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've explored Chrysogon's Coterie and Beneath the Silver Spire as separate entities, but now let's see what happens when we merge these two worlds.
Okay, yeah.
We kind of have this set of finely crafted character pieces
Sure.
and this like sprawling, perilous game board just waiting for them to be played,
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So imagine dropping these characters right into the thick of the action.
Okay.
Remember Conrad Freemain,
Yeah, yeah.
the halfling cleric with that, sibling rivalry burning a hole in his heart. What if his desire to, outshine his sister Mallory leads him right to the Silver Spire's doorstep?
Conrad's personal motivations add such an intriguing layer to the adventure.
Right.
Imagine him encountering Didas, the overseer,
Right.
that sly devil offering a deal for safe passage.
Huh.
Would Conrad, blinded by ambition, be tempted
Yeah.
to take it, even if it meant betraying his companions?
It's that classic dilemma,
Yeah.
personal gain versus loyalty to the group. And with Conrad's history, it wouldn't be surprising to see him choose the path less traveled,
Right.
especially if he believes it'll lead to greater glory.
Especially if he thinks it's going to, get him out of his sister's shadow.
Right. And speaking of Mallory,
Again.
we know she's a founding member of the Octad. That's, the secret group dedicated to fighting evil. What if she's on a mission inside the Spire, completely unaware that her own brother might be working against her?
Oh, wow.
Talk about family drama
Right.
with infernal stakes.
It's a scenario just, ripe with tension, all that potential conflict.
Right.
Would Conrad recognize his sister in the Spire's shadows?
Yeah.
And if so, how would he react to her involvement in this, super dangerous mission?
Right.
Would it, ignite some sense of, protectiveness? Or would his jealousy lead him to even darker choices?
It's so fascinating to consider how those pre-existing relationships could play out in the confines of the Spire.
Yeah.
It adds that layer of personal investment to the adventure, blurring the lines between, a game and a gripping narrative.
Absolutely. And it's not just Conrad and Mallory.
Right.
Think about Ainsley Kinsley, the cleric, obsessed with the undead.
Right. Right.
I mean, we know he was expelled from his temple for, delving into forbidden knowledge.
Uh-huh.
What if that expulsion led him right to the Silver Spire,
Yeah.
drawn by all those rumors of powerful undead creatures
Yeah.
and the secrets they hold?
His obsession with the undead could be, his undoing.
Right. Yeah.
Especially with a weapon like Soulfang in play.
Totally.
It drains the wielder's life force when it's used against the undead.
Right.
Ainsley might see it as, the ultimate prize, a key to unlocking the mysteries of death itself.
Mm-hmm.
But at what cost?
Right. It's almost as if the Spire itself is this, magnet for these characters, their flaws and desires,
Right.
drawing them into its web of danger and intrigue.
Totally. And it's not just the, dark desires that are amplified within the Spire.
Right.
Think about Vesper Calissa, the cleric questioning the rigidity of their faith.
Yeah.
Could the Spire, with its distorted version of spirituality and hierarchy, be the ultimate test of their beliefs?
Imagine Vesper encountering, the Simoniacs, those, hypocritical clerics buried headfirst as punishment for their greed, or witnessing the priest in the cathedral driven mad by his obsession with blood thistle.
Yeah.
I mean, these encounters could either, totally shatter Vesper's faith or lead them to, a profound, albeit unorthodox spiritual awakening.
It's like the Spire is a crucible, forcing these characters to confront their deepest fears and doubts,
Yeah.
pushing them to the very brink of who they are.
Totally.
But what about the characters who hold on to their principles, who refuse to compromise their values? How do they navigate this treacherous landscape?
Think about Tasia, the rebellious fighter.
Right.
Would she be swayed by Didas's offer of safe passage?
Yeah.
Or would she, stand firm,
Mm-hmm.
her moral compass guiding her through all that darkness?
I can already picture her, sword in hand, leading the charge against the infernal forces.
Well.
Her rebellious spirit ignited by the injustice she witnesses.
Exactly. And what about Ernan?
Yeah.
The halfling cleric, with their love of forgotten deities.
Right.
But imagine them stumbling upon, a hidden chamber filled with ancient texts detailing Lothang Ganthar's rise to power.
Oh, wow.
They would be in their element, poring over those texts.
Yeah.
Their passion for lost knowledge.
Yeah.
Fueling their, determination to uncover all the Spire's secrets. It's the Spire is this treasure trove of lore.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be, unearthed.
It is. And it's not just Ernan.
Right.
Even a character like Vigo,
Yeah.
the bookish dwarf fighter,
Yeah.
could find his love of knowledge put to the test within those walls. Imagine him using his analytical mind
Yeah.
to decipher ancient runes or architectural anomalies, uncovering hidden pathways, secret chambers.
Right.
His knowledge wouldn't just be a hobby.
Right.
It could be the key to survival.
It's like remarkable how those, seemingly mundane interests,
Yeah.
like Vigo's love of books or Ernan's, fascination with these forgotten deities, could become like assets in this treacherous environment.
Right, but let's not forget about the most enigmatic character of them all, Chrysogon Nemesine,
Oh, right.
the author of Chrysogon's Coterie. We know they live this reclusive life,
Uh-huh.
seemingly detached from the world they've created.
Their detachment is precisely what makes them so intriguing.
Right.
Are they like just an observer, chronicling these lives from afar? Or do they have like a more active role to play in everything that's going on?
What if Chrysogon isn't just an author,
Right.
but like a puppet master, subtly manipulating events from their secluded castle?
Whoa.
Or maybe they're a prisoner of the Spire themselves. Their writings are this desperate plea for help, a message in a bottle cast upon the winds of fate.
That's a thrilling thought. This
Yeah.
like seemingly passive observer suddenly thrust into the, heart of the story. Their motivations and actions becoming as complex and layered as the characters, that they brought to life.
Right. It's like we're starting to unravel a conspiracy, peeling back the layers of this world and discovering a depth we never imagined.
And with each layer we peel back, more questions arise.
Right.
Who is Chrysogon Nemesine? And what role do they truly play in this, like, grand narrative?
That's a good question. We've explored the characters, the setting, the potential for chaos when these elements collide, but we've only scratched the surface of what's possible.
Right.
Join us in part 3, where we'll delve deeper into the consequences of these interactions and consider what lies beyond the Silver Spire's imposing walls.
Welcome back to the final chapter of our deep dive into this world woven from Chrysogon's Coterie and beneath the Silver Spire.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It has. We've explored the personalities, motivations of these intriguing characters, and we've dropped them right into the heart of the Silver Spire.
Right into the action.
Now it's time to face the music.
We've seen like all the potential for triumph and disaster.
Right.
But the cool thing about these sources is that the outcome rests in the hands of the players.
Yeah, that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Conrad Freemain,
Right.
that halfling cleric, just consumed by sibling rivalry.
Yeah. So imagine him like standing before Lothang Ganthar, the stolen blood thistle pulsing in his hand. Would he really betray his companions for a chance to like prove his worth?
It's a tough one. I mean, he spent his whole life feeling inadequate, overshadowed by Mallory's achievements. And now he's got this power to like reshape his destiny. The question is, would he be willing to sacrifice his integrity, his very soul, for like a taste of that power?
It's a choice that could have some pretty far-reaching consequences.
Yeah.
Would he become a champion of darkness?
Right.
Wielding blood thistle as like this symbol of his newfound power? Or would he find redemption?
Yeah.
Ultimately rejecting Ganthar's influence and choosing a path of, righteousness.
That's a good question. And what about Ainsley Kinsley?
Right.
The cleric obsessed with the undead.
Yeah.
We've seen how Soulfang, that life-draining scimitar, could be like his ultimate temptation. So imagine him standing on the edge of becoming the very thing he's like studied for so long.
Yeah.
Would he succumb to, the allure of forbidden knowledge?
Right.
Embracing undeath as the means to further his understanding.
It's a chilling thought, imagining him like turning against his companions, his eyes glowing with this eerie, otherworldly light. And what about Vesper Calusa?
Right.
The cleric questioning their faith. Would they find solace in this, twisted spirituality of the Silver Spire?
We've seen how the Spire's like distorted version of hierarchy and justice could either strengthen or completely shatter those beliefs.
Totally.
So imagine them standing before the river of blood, witnessing those brutal executions of those deemed unworthy. Would they see it as like a perversion of their faith or a brutal truth that they've been sheltered from?
Yeah, their journey is one of self-discovery, this quest for meaning in a world that seems to have like completely lost its moral compass. Would they emerge from the Spire with a renewed sense of purpose, or would they become disillusioned, their faith replaced by, a cynical pragmatism?
It's fascinating how each character's journey in the Spire could lead to, like, completely different outcomes.
Right. But what about those who, those who resist temptation,
Right.
those who hold on to their principles despite all the darkness surrounding them?
Their unwavering resolve would
Yeah.
be this beacon of hope in this, this desolate landscape. So imagine Tasia, the rebellious fighter, her spirit unyielding,
Right.
despite all the horrors she's seen.
I can see her rallying her companions, her courage inspiring them to fight for a better tomorrow,
Yeah.
even within, the confines of this infernal prison.
And Ernan,
Yeah.
the halfling cleric,
Uh-huh.
imagine them using their knowledge to unravel Ganthar's schemes,
Right.
maybe even finding a way to, like, turn the Spire's power against its master.
Wow.
It's like their thirst for knowledge would just be some, like, academic pursuit.
Right.
It could be, like, the key to liberation for themselves
Yeah.
and for all those captive souls.
Right. And what about Vigo, our bookish door fighter?
His love of learning could prove, like, super invaluable in deciphering all those secrets.
Yeah.
Maybe he, like, discovers a hidden weakness in Ganthar's defenses, a flaw that could, turn the tide.
Yeah, it's incredible how these seemingly ordinary individuals, each with their unique strengths and flaws,
Right.
could become the heroes of the story.
They really could.
But let's not forget about the most enigmatic figure of them all,
Right.
Chrysogon Nemothamin, the author who set these events in motion.
Throughout our deep dive, we've talked about, like, what their role is. Are they
Yeah.
just observing, or are they, more actively involved?
What if their writings aren't just character profiles, but
Right.
blueprints for this, like, grander narrative?
Oh, wow.
Maybe each character's journey, their struggles, their triumphs are all part of this larger design, this cosmic tapestry woven by Chrysogon's unseen hand.
That's a really tantalizing thought.
It is.
Imagine Chrysogon as this, like, master storyteller guiding these characters towards a predetermined fate, their actions influencing, the very fabric of this world.
Yeah. Or maybe Chrysogon is a prisoner themselves,
Oh, yeah.
trapped within the spire.
Wow.
Their writings are this this desperate attempt to, like, communicate with the outside world, to find champions who can break the cycle of suffering and bring light back to, to this desolate realm.
The possibilities are, like, truly endless,
They are.
only limited by our imagination. That's the beauty of Chrysogon's Coterie
Yeah.
and Beneath the Silver Spire.
Yeah.
They give us the building blocks, that spark of inspiration. They invite us to create our own stories and our own interpretations.
So as we conclude our deep dive, dear listener, we leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
What if you were the one stepping into this world,
Cool.
taking on the mantle of one of these characters? What choices would you make?
Great.
What paths would you forge within the Silver Spire's treacherous walls?
Remember, the power of storytelling lies in the hands of those who dare to imagine. So go forth, create your own legends in this world of quirky heroes, infernal dungeons, and sentient weapons whispering secrets in the shadows.
Until next time, may your adventures be filled with intrigue, excitement, and a touch of magic.